Alaska Corla, just a sharing time with Deputy Hildegarde Norton. Alaska Corla, can I say that I welcome the introduction of the Judicial Appointments Commission Bill 2017 to this House by Minister Charlie Flanagan. Radical reform of the current system of judicial appointments was a key demand of the Independent Alliance during last year's government formation negotiations. The programme for government, Alaska Corla, committed the government to reforming the system to ensure that it is transparent, that it is fair, credible, and with the introduction of this bill, we are delivering on this promise. There has been a lot of debate, both in this House and elsewhere, about the issue of membership of the new Judicial Appointments Commission proposed under this bill. Should there be a lay chair or a judicial chair? Should there be a lay majority or a judicial majority? For the record, Alaska Corla, I wish to make it clear that I support the proposals in the bill that the Commission should have both a lay chair and a lay majority. What I wish to focus on tonight in my speech is, however, not the question of how many lay members there should be on the Commission, but rather the question of what kind of experience or expertise these lay members should have, and most importantly, what criteria they should apply when recommending individuals for appointment as judges. For some of the comments made in this House and elsewhere, you might think that the lay members of the Commission might be a random selection of strangers pulled off the street. The reality, Alaska Corla, is very, very different. The bill provides in section 15 that the lay members must have appropriate experience, qualifications, training and expertise in a number of areas. I welcome the fact that among these areas are matters connected with human rights, equality, or issues concerning diversity among members of society. Lay members with these backgrounds will bring important real-world experience to the table when decisions are being made on judicial appointments. I also welcome most particularly the criteria set out in section 7 of the bill, which will be applied by members of the Commission when making those decisions. Decisions to recommend a person for appointment as a judge will now be based exclusively on merit and subject to this overarching principle. Regard should also be had, firstly, to the objective that the membership of the judiciary shall comprise equal members of men and women, and secondly, crucially, to the objective that membership of the judiciary should, to the extent feasible and practicable, reflect the diversity within the population as a whole. And I think this is a very important aspect of this legislation. I want to say I endorse this provision wholeheartedly, reflecting as it does on my own long-held commitment to diversity and to working to advance the rights of all members of society, including in particular the disabled community. Speaking on RT's Radio's Drive Time programme earlier this week, the University of Limerick legal academic Dr. Laura Callan commented on the bill's objective of a more diverse judiciary, stating, "In Ireland, for example, we do have a very homogeneous judiciary, and research has shown that when judges are in control of these sorts of appointing bodies, then they will always appoint judges in their own image. So, if judges are all taken from the same sort of educational background, they've all gone to the same schools, they're all from the same sort of higher middle-class background, then you're going to have a repetition of all those people being appointed. Research has shown that when you involve laypersons in this process, when you have a lay majority, you get a more diverse judiciary. And these are the facts, and this is the way society is run. To achieve this laudable objective of a more diverse judiciary, we must, of course, have a more diverse legal profession from which judges can be selected. This is an issue, of course, for another debate on another day, and for the purpose of today's debate, I welcome this objective in this bill. Diversity, and we should all listen and learn from this, encompasses a wide range of characteristics, and as Minister of State with responsibility for disability issues, I have a particular interest in fighting for the cause of disability rights. I think it's important that when we do this, we think of the many people in the disability community with excellent talents, and many of them with many brilliant abilities. And this is often not reflected in our broader society. And that is why it's a great pleasure and honour for me to be Minister of State to develop this and change the mindset in Irish society. No disabled person should be excluded from any position in society for which they are otherwise educationally qualified solely on account of their disability. No disabled person or person from any other diverse background should be thought not good enough to become a judge simply because those who appoint judges think that they are not people like us. These types of decisions may not be made consciously, and those making them may not even realise that they are making them. But without a range of diverse lay members at the table, these decisions will undoubtedly be made, and we will continue to have Dr Laura Callanan's very homogeneous judiciary, instead of a diverse judiciary which this bill has in its objective. And I think these are very important aspects to the broader debate as well. Last Cancora, I look forward to the day when our diverse judiciary includes representative numbers of the disabled community, for example. And in furtherance of this vision, I will be strongly supporting the legislation. And I also think it's important as well that we challenge those that have sought to undermine this piece of legislation. I reject comments by Senator Michael McDowell as an example on his personal attack on Minister Shane Ross. Let's debate the legislation, let's debate the issue, let's leave people out of it, and let's leave personalities out of it. Can I also say, in relation to this legislation, it will deliver upon the programme for government commitments to reform judicial appointments by removing the appearance and or the reality of any political interference in the process. And this is a very important aspect of this legislation. Removal of the appearance or alleged appearance of political interference, because many members of the public are of that view. The legislation proposes a transparent and independent system with a new Judicial Appointments Commission encompassing key features: the independent chairperson, the lay majority, and the reduction in the number of candidates being recommended for any vacancy to a maximum number of 3 candidates. These are very progressive things, and I cannot understand why members of the opposition are opposing this radical, fresh, new legislation. The bill is all about, for the first time, merit. And if you believe in a meritocracy, and if you believe in giving the best person the job on merit, you should support this legislation. Can I say finally, Alaskan Corda, this bill is about reform. This bill is about merit. This bill is about transparency. But above all, this bill is about the future of justice in our country. Thank you.